Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football channel. That's at Football Tribe UG. It's really a pleasure to be back with you guys this morning, and yeah, today we'll be speaking about Mikel Arteta's assistant that is set to leave and destined for a job in Italy, as well as the Premier League fixtures that we do expect to be released today. My and one of the reasons as to why we are coming to you a bit late, because my hope had been that maybe those fixtures would have been released by the time I did come on the screens, but it looks like they are going to be released at 9 a.m. That's at 9 a.m. BST, British Summer Time. So unfortunately, we cannot wait until then. But again, we will be briefing you once they are out. So we do expect those fixtures to be released today, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you guys in regards to what your expectations would be. What are you looking forward to in regards to the fixture list? We all know the teams that were promoted last season. Those teams including Burnley, Leeds, and of course Sunderland, the newcomers, the new entrants, in as far as the Premier League is concerned. So really, I'm really eager to hear from you guys what you do make of that. But while I wait for you guys to join the broadcast, allow me to do the absolute honors of having our audios tested before we get into into today morning's conversation in regards to those highlighted topics. I think our audios are good to go. Our audios are good to go. So my internet seems to be buffering a bit, but I hope you guys can kindly bear with me as during the course of this broadcast. But I hope we will be good. I hope we will be good. But yeah, those are some of the topics that we're going to be tackling as of this morning, as well as a review of what's making the rounds from the world of transfers. Of course, not to mention the FIFA Club World Cup is the other good, yesterday we did have that game between Mamelodi Sundowns and Island. Of course, Mamelodi went on to win that one, even though the kickoff was delayed a bit for about 30 minutes. And things of that nature in that regard. So if you're just joining us, please like the broadcast and then consider subscribing to the channel if you're new with us. But before we get again into the depth of the conversation, I wish to say thank you to Godbled, Pressing Kosi, Tyrone Davis, Enoch Isaac, that's Mommy Enoch Isaac, Gregory, my colleagues there, Paul Chigozi, and then Hawks Crafts, and all the others that managed to join us for last night's broadcast. Thank you so much. Apologies if you hear any background noise. Some little creature is banging on my door, and that's quite unfortunate. I may need to even leave my seat to go and take them away from there if it comes to that, because we do not want anybody interfering with what we are trying to do this morning. So a lot of news making the rounds, and then apologies, guys, like the broadcast and also let me know where you're joining us from this morning. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. The reason that's why I'm laughing is because 2 days ago, Alexander Trent Arnold, or Trent, as he's sort of rebranded himself, put out a post of him in a Real Madrid kit, training kit, and sitting out there on the turf. And Phil Foden, I think that was on his Instagram. Then Phil Foden commented, "Maybe I can join you, mate, question mark, and then he added a laughing emoji, and then Real Madrid came and replied to the post by saying no. I mean, that's just savage, really. Real Madrid, whoever the admin is for the Real Madrid Instagram pages. Anyways, let's wait and see in that respect. But yeah, let's start things off with Arsenal, where Mikel Arteta's assistant in Carlos Cuesta is bound to leave, destined for a bigger job. They are in the Italian Serie A with Parma. Carlos Cuesta is one of those young managers, only 29 years of age, very sought after, very highly respected. It's not the first time that a team tried to come approaching for him. Really, there've been inquiries about him to assign him potential roles, especially in Italy, where he's widely known. He did start his career at Juventus as an assistant. Of course, he didn't get to play much football because of injuries. That's why by the age of 23, he was already, in these coaching roles. He did work with Juventus, I think had a stint at Atletico de Madrid, and then of course he did eventually join Mikel Arteta's coaching squad. When Steve Rod did leave Arsenal, he's one of the guys that were promoted. Instead of Mikel Arteta going out there to look for a replacement for Steve Rod when he left the club, he chose to promote Carlos Cuesta. So he's been really, really highly thought of in as far as the Arsenal dressing room is concerned. He's believed to be a popular figure among the Arsenal players. Perhaps I do suspect it's maybe because they do really, really relate with him at that stage or at that level, where you get, because when you have a manager in that kind of age profile, in his 20s, early 30s, already, oftentimes when he connects with the players, the connection is usually good because they do relate with him at different levels. So, in regards to that news, is that of course it was broken last night when Fabrizio Romano brought it as an exclusive, saying that Serie A side Parma have decided to appoint Carlos Cuesta as the new manager. Talks at final stages with Arsenal to get green light and appoint the 29-year-old Spanish manager who's now leaving assistant head coach role at Arsenal. So there you have it. He had been elevated to the role of assistant coach. That means he was number two to Albert Stevenberg. There, in regards to the Arsenal hierarchy, Mikel Arteta is manager, then Albert, also commonly referred to as the guys with the AirPods, always has AirPods in his ears, is the head coach, and then Carlos Cuesta did follow there in that one, and then all the others, Inaki, the goalkeeping coach, and the likes of Nicolas Jova, the set-piece coach, and things of that nature. Whether Mikel Arteta will once again look internally to elevate somebody, that remains to be seen, but I hope he does go out there and find a new figure, somebody that brings new perspective, something that brings a new thought to this, a new voice in that dressing room, in that coaching staff. The way we've just seen Pep Guardiola, sort of turn things up with his coaching staff and bringing in Cole Kule, who was an assistant with the under-18s, and he brought in a former Jurgen Klopp assistant in Pep Linders. So he's going to be working with that cohort. That was after they lost, a couple of coaches, including Carlos Vicente, yes, who went to SC Braga in Portugal. So really, that's the big news. So as of this morning, Carlos Cuesta does arrive in Italy in order to sign as a new Parma head coach. He's leaving Arsenal coaching staff with green lights after the green light was given, and it's a here we go confirmed. That's according to Fabrizio Romano as of this morning. So, but like I said, he's been really, really a popular figure within the Arsenal dressing room, and according to Charles Watts, who sort of who does follow Arsenal more religiously than most, perhaps, did come out to say in the wake of that news that it's a big change in Arteta's coaching staff coming up, and it did come out to say that Carlos Cuesta's departure will be a blow to Arsenal and Arteta. No doubt, he's really popular, and the players like him, but he was always going to go at some point. The offer of a top job was always going to come, a good chance to refreshen up the coaching staff a bit now. And we're going to look at maybe the possible considerations in that regard. What an opportunity for Cuesta, though, managing a Serie A side at 29, crazy. The management game is just getting younger and younger. Those were the words of Charles Watts. The Arsenal correspondent, formerly worked with Football.London, worked with Cole, and now he does work with Court Offside as well as Sports Mall alongside. Sorry. But also does run his Arsenal podcast. I think it's called Arsenal Insider there on YouTube. Anyways, so there you have it, Arsenal fans. You're losing one of your assistant coaches to Parma in Carlos Cuesta. However, if there's one single player that Mikel Arteta has often spoken highly of, is always been Sant Cazorla, who is playing at Oviedo in Segunda B. Sorry, in the Segunda. That's the Spanish La Liga's second division or second tier division. And the other day he scored a free kick to see them to the finals of the Segunda, with the possibility of helping them to reach promotion to the Spanish La Liga. Now, so anyways, trying to, yes, in regards to Carlos Cuesta's experience, of course, he joined Arsenal in 2020. For those of you that do remember, Mikel Arteta joined the club in 2019. So he soon later joined and worked as an assistant coach but he did work as an assistant coach in the youth academies of Atletico Madrid, and Juventus is known for his focus on individual player development. So there you have it in regards to Carlos Cuesta, born just in 1995. I know many of us, if not a majority of our followers, are even older than him in that respect. But that's the man, the Spanish gaffer in Carlos Cuesta, who is leaving Arsenal for a permanent role as head coach at Parma in the Italian Serie A. So I was speaking about Santi Cazorla because Mikel Arteta does appreciate Santi Cazorla. He would really love to work with him. And I mean, whether this gives him that opportunity to work with him remains to be seen, because at least he is expected to retire at the end of the current season from Oviedo. He's about 40 years of age, really. So we do expect that to sort of happen. And this was an opinion by an account called Now Arsenal on X. He did say Mikel Arteta has made it publicly clear he wants Santi Cazorla to join his coaching staff at Arsenal when he hangs up his boots, which is expected to be this summer. With Carlos Cuesta leaving, it creates the perfect opportunity for Cazorla to step into the role if he wants it. So there you have it in regards to that assistant role. It looks like I'm trying to fish out for some news, because I've seen reports saying that Arsenal will open the Premier League season with a game against Manchester United. So I want to check if that has any truth to it. I've seen it in some circles. I'm trying to look out for those fixtures and see if there's anything out there to highlight for you guys in the course of this broadcast. But I've just seen the breaking news here again from the same account called Now Arsenal, saying Arsenal will face Manchester United at Old Trafford on the opening day of the Premier League season. The Gunners will then host newly promoted side Leeds United before travelling away to Anfield to take on the reigning champions Liverpool. Two very difficult away games to open the 2025-2026 campaign for Mikel Arteta's side. Arsenal will then face off with Nottingham Forest at the Emirates Stadium before two more difficult fixtures in Manchester City at home, followed by Newcastle away. So that's in regards to Now Arsenal. Let me see if we can find something on Manchester United, the United stand. I think, let me see if they have something in that regard, in the regard of those fixtures. Okay, nothing yet from them. But those highlights that I just read out, I'm here to confirm them, but at least those are some of the reports that are coming out. So I mean, what a difficult start to a season that would be really for Arsenal. But again, like I keep saying, if you're going to be a title contender, if you want to win the title, you ought to go through these kinds of moments. You ought to be ready at any point of time. So opening your account with a trip to Manchester United is no easy trip. It's no easy fixture, and then of course you play Leeds in the subsequent fixture. Then after that, you make the trip to Anfield, the reigning champions. That's some really, really hot, firepower. Then you play Nottingham Forest, a team that would do not qualify for the UEFA Conference League, and then of course trying to find their way into the Europa League by challenge or by petitioning UEFA on the curious case of Crystal Palace and things of that nature. But then after that, if you're going to play Man City and then make the trip to Newcastle, that would be really, really incredibly hard. And especially bearing in mind that Arsenal are looking to have some new players in their starting lineup, that for me raises eyebrows. But anyways, let's step away from that, guys, as I continue to fish for more of that information, or to confirm that information in regards to the Premier League fixtures. But briefly, let's run to the FIFA Club World Cup and talk matters FIFA Club World Cup, because yesterday night we did witness, like I said, Mamelodi Sundowns did beat up against Island Hyundai. Now, Island Hyundai is a team from South Korea. They did beat them by a goal to nil. That goal scored by Reyners in the 36th minute of the opening half. Lucas Ribeiro did provide the assist. Of course, the game was kickoff to the game was delayed by up to 30 minutes due to bad weather conditions, or that were deemed not safe for the players, the fans, as well as the mascots, the scouts on the pitch. So kickoff was delayed, but eventually when the game was played, Mamelodi Sundowns did open the account with a victory. I remember they do belong, I think, in the same group with Borussia Dortmund, and their next fixture will be up against Borussia Dortmund, who shared the scores in a goalless draw yesterday against Fluminense. Now, and then their last fixture will come on June the 25th against Fluminense. Now, remember, it's the top two that do qualify for the round of 16. So, Mamelodi Sundowns, that victory does give them a huge advantage or opportunity to advance to the round of 16. They will need at least the very least a draw in their subsequent fixtures, or if they are, or even just beating up against beating up against Borussia Dortmund to confirm their advancement to the round of 16 in that bird. But guys, if any of you has sort of seen if any of you have seen those fixtures, you can share a link with me in case you already have access to the Premier League fixtures for the new season. Because from the looks of things on my end, matches are not yet available. I do not know if what I just read out for you was a scoop, or but like I said, I'm yet to confirm that news myself. So let's not be too quick to believe it. But if it is indeed the case, then it will be quite the hot start for the Gunners. Then okay, let's move away from that. Then let's go speak matters transfers briefly. I do not want this broadcast to be by the way so long. Today being Wednesday. Anyways, and I hope guys, I hope I'm not missing anything from the chatter, really, because usually YouTube tends to, for some reason, hide those messages. Yesterday we spoke about three Saudi Pro League clubs chasing the signature of 32-year-old South Korean international. That's Son Heung-min, the Tottenham Hotspur captain, and are willing to pay up to £34 million to sign him. That's Al Ahly, Al Nassr, and Al Qadash. The player, I think, would be open to the move, but more importantly, Tottenham will be open to selling him. If for those of you that know Daniel Levy and those that have followed him for quite a bit of time, you would know that when it comes to cashing in on players, he wouldn't hesitate if he feels that the valuation of his player is being met. So there's that. Then Bayern Munich will target Brighton's Kaoru Mitoma if they do fail to, they will target Kaoru Mitoma and Cody Gakpo if they miss out on Nico Williams and Bradley Barcola. I remember Bradley Barcola and Nico Williams are Bayern Munich's top 2 targets for a left winger. But should they fail in that respect, then they will look to recruit Kaoru Mitoma, 28 years of age, or Cody Gakpo, who is only 26. That's for the Dutch forward. Then Man United did agree to extend Tom Heaton's contract by 1 year. That's for the 39-year-old England goalkeeper. He's the club's third choice goalkeeper. While Bournemouth and England right back Max Aarons at 25 is a target for Rangers, as the Cherries do not want to loan him out. They will prefer a permanent move. Chelsea's England left back Zach Sturridge at 21 is on the verge of joining Millwall on a permanent basis after impressing them last season. Then Trabzonspor are targeting Ipswich Town and their Congo defender Tuanzebe, 27 years of age, while AC Milan have met with representatives for Granit Xhaka over a potential move for the Switzerland international, currently at Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen looks to be destined for mass exodus of players, because if you're looking at a team that has already lost Jonathan Tah to Bayern Munich, Jeremy Frimpong to Liverpool, Florian Wirtz destined going to Liverpool, and now Granit Xhaka could leave. I mean, it begs the question of who will be left maybe for Eric Ten Hag to start with. But of course, they would look forward to refilling those holes. But let's wait and see. Then Napoli attempting to sign Manchester United and England winger Jadon Sancho after a successful season at Chelsea. That is Gianluca Di Mazzario revealing that. Okay. This is we have a new comment from Adieri Kangumba. Adieri Kangumba, yeah. This is his, I think, his second time on one of our broadcasts in as far as submitting a comment is concerned. Hi, Arteta should be sacked from Arsenal and Inzaghi should be appointed as the manager for Arsenal. Thank you so much, Adieri Kangumba, for that comment. But here is what I'll say. Unfortunately for you, Mikel Arteta is not going to be sacked, at least not this season or at the start of it or before the start of it. The expectation is that he is there for at least another season or more. But also the manager that you're speaking about in Simone Inzaghi has already left Inter Milan and agreed to join Al Hilal. He is going to be in the dugout at Al Hilal as they face off Real Madrid at the FIFA Club World Cup. That's in case you should know. So he's at this point in time is not an option. However, like we've discussed on this forum before, if Arsenal were to let go of Mikel Arteta, for me, I do think that among the top among the top candidates to potentially replace him, for me, I'd go in number one, Luis Enrique. I'd look at a manager like Jürgen Nagelsmann, and maybe not to put him at number two, but he's one of those that I would consider. But Luis Enrique would be a top target for me. Of course, an option like Pep Guardiola is more wishful than realistic if it were to happen. Jurgen Klopp, very, very good manager. Would he get the job? He would be considered if he were available, but like he did say, he doesn't expect to manage any other team in the Premier League, having managed Liverpool for about 9 years or so. Really, that's the update I can give you. But Simone Inzaghi will be in the dugout when Real Madrid go out to play Al Hilal at the FIFA Club World Cup. That fixture should be coming. Actually, that fixture is coming later today at 10 p.m. East African time. So Xabi Alonso new in the Real Madrid dugout versus Simone Inzaghi new in the Al Hilal dugout on the other side for the Saudi Pro League. While earlier on at 7 p.m., Manchester City will be up against Wydad Casablanca. But thank you so much, Kangumba, for your comments. So briefly, let's return back to the transfer speculation, and then we conclude on some of those things. Now, Napoli seem to be targeting the whole host of players from England, including Garnacho, Jordan Sancho, as well as Jack Grealish, who is expected to leave Manchester City. The 29-year-old has 2 years left to his current contract, although he is expected to leave after being left out of the squad that did travel for the FIFA Club World Cup. That's in the United States of America. Teams like West Ham, teams like Everton, teams like Newcastle, teams like Tottenham Hotspurs are all considering a potential move for the 29-year ex-Aston Villa star. So remember, Aston Villa, Tottenham had wanted to sign Jack Grealish while he was still at Aston Villa long before he hit those high numbers, and then Manchester City came in with the £100 million offer that they spent to sign him. So let's wait and see. The Nottingham Forest are interested in Colombia and Paramida's midfielder Ricardo Rios, 25 years of age, whose contract includes a release clause of up to £85 million. That's according to Gimme Sport. Like I said, I do find those reports not wide of the mark, but I do not see a situation where Nottingham Forest do pay £85 million for a player. And the reason for that is simple, is because they sort of need to spread their wings. They ought to improve their squad depth in the work of having, European football. Every Thursday, they'll be playing in the UEFA Conference League. And given the kind of tournament that it is, they can really fancy themselves to go a bit far in that competition, because in regards of last season's strength, I do not think that they are any different from the realm of Real Betis. Guys, please like the broadcast. Please click that like button on the broadcast. But also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and help us grow. But like I said, Premier League fixtures are expected at 9 a.m. British summer time. With Britain about 2 hours behind us, I suspect it's still about 7:57 a.m. That side. And I'm hoping that perhaps by the time we do leave this place, we may have some more concrete news in regards to those fixtures. Then the other news that we ought to discuss in regards to transfers, of course, we've spoken about Nico Williams at great length. Is Barcelona are the leading contenders to sign him? The writing is on the wall. Then I think tomorrow being Thursday, is when Florian Wirtz would be expected to arrive in the UK for his medical. So let's keep our eyes peeled on that as well. Then Manchester United will give priority to selling Jadon Sancho on permanent deal before opening doors to loans. Napoli among clubs keen but not intentioned to pay his current salary, early stages, and more clubs in the race. Now, the thing about Jadon Sancho and a potential move away from uh, from Manchester United, the sticking point, not so much the transfer fee or the valuation of the player, is always going to be his wages, because he's on really significant high wages, and that's why they couldn't find common ground with Chelsea to make that move permanent. So it will be interesting to see how negotiations for Jadon Sancho do go, because if you're going to buy him, he does want to command high wages. But I also think that a manager like Antonio Conte is one of those with the capabilities of taming his attitude and the way he leads his life in terms of professionalism, in terms of being there for training and things of that nature. Then similarly, Garnacho is one of those players that the only challenge he's having is attitude. I do not know whether it's nature for him, or it's natural for him, or it's because of his age and the kind of money he has. When you get money when you're still young, oftentimes you're vulnerable. I mean, he's not doing anything different from what 20-year-olds typically often do, but it's been deemed too much at Manchester United. The kinds of information he puts out there on social media, which you cannot separate from the player. His overall attitude has been in question. So, but nonetheless, there are clubs interested in his signature in the Premier League, at least up to 3 clubs, with Aston Villa being one of those. So let's wait and see. Arsenal are mentioned in those conversations, but I do not know how far concrete that those rumors are. Then in regards to Neymar Jr., he says he did reveal that he was close to joining from Menze for the FIFA World Cup. It was a serious chance, but he decided not to proceed and stay at Santos to recover, as he's not 100% fit yet, and he wants to be in his best condition possible. I remember the new Brazil head coach, that's Carlo Ancelotti, did say that if Neymar, he wants Neymar to be part of the World Cup squad for the FIFA 2026 World Cup that will be in the USA, Canada, and Mexico. But for him to achieve that, he ought to return back to his full fitness and sharpness. Then Pep Guardiola did confirm Jack Grealish's exit, saying Jack Grealish, an exceptional player, he has to play. In the last 2 seasons, he didn't play much, and he has to come back to play, have the butterflies in his stomach that he can play every single 3 days and show again the quality he has. That's Pep Guardiola. Well, while he says that he needs to play, of course he doesn't think that he is the right manager to give him that opportunity to be playing every single 3 days. So let's wait and see how that equally transfers. Then I thought there were some interesting comments from Xabi Alonso on Rodrigo Goes and Franco Massatuano. Remember, these ones are both managers in Xabi Alonso and Pep Guardiola were speaking in build-up to their respective games. Man City playing Wydad Casablanca at 7 p.m. East African time, while Real Madrid will be up against Al Hilal at 10 p.m. That's East African time. In regards to Rodrigo, Xabi Alonso did say, I know what happened. The end of the season wasn't easy for him. He took some time to rest. We've talked since day one, and I see him eager to contribute on the field and enjoy himself. Now, remember, Arsenal do have concrete interest in signing Rodrigo Goes from Real Madrid, who is valued at about 90 to 100 million euros. Arsenal, if you're a serious team, firm up your interest. Go and sign the player. If you do think he's the perfect fit for your model, go and snap him. Quit wasting time. And then, the other player for me that I would consider for a similar role would be Xavi Simons at RB Leipzig. Very, very good player, 22 years of age for the Dutch international, loads of experience, having played at Paris Saint-Germain and, of course, RB Leipzig, initially on long spells. As I think he did play also with PSV and Oven. Yes, still I think, yeah, he played with PSV and Oven. So he's one of those players that I do hold in high regard. Really, very very good youngster. Then in regards to Franco Mastatwano, Zabi Alonso said we are happy for Franco because because he is a kid with a fantastic present and a brutal future. I was impressed by the conversation I had with him about his ambition and maturity there. So there you have those comments in regards to those two players, Zabi Alonso. But again, when you look at Zabi Alonso in his comments about Rodriguez, he doesn't come out to emphatically say that Rodrigo is untouchable in my squad. He's going to be a key member, and he is definitely going to stay. He doesn't say that. Now, it's not to say that what he says alludes to any relation whatsoever that he will be leaving the club, but if you are an Arsenal fan reading into this, if you are an objective football fan reading into this, you do sort of sense that maybe he's equally aware that there is a possibility that Rodrigo goes leaves Real Madrid, because when he says, "I know what happened," I know what happened. The end of the season wasn't easy for him. Why wasn't it easy? He wasn't playing in his favorite role. We know that the coming in of Kylian Mbappe sort of distorted how Real Madrid went about their play. But also, he did say we talked since day one, and I see him eager to contribute on the field and enjoy himself. So, sort of typical a manager praising one of the most talented teams one of the most talented players in a team he's just joined. So the comments are typical of that, but it's not the way you've had managers come out and say that one is not for sale. Just imagine Hansi Flick commenting about, let's say, the future of Lamine Yamal. I mean, he will be saying Lamine Yamal is everything at Barcelona. He's very, very pivotal to their project, and he won't be leaving, and things of that regard. But again, let's wait and see. But in regards to reaffirming Arsenal's interest in reaffirming Arsenal's interest in Rodrigo Goes, it was Ben Jacobs that put out something and said that Arsenal do retain indeed concrete interest, and that Arsenal hold genuine interest in Rodrigo and have held exploratory talks on the player side dating back to May. Understand Real Madrid want up to 90 million euros. So there it is to confirm that for you. Then exclusive, Liverpool set to finalize a deal for Milos Kakez next week. Understanding the fee is about 40 million pounds. Now, again, this is one of the deals we spoke about last night, saying that once Liverpool conclude the deal for Florian Wirtz, then it will be Milos Kakez next, and then we will head into the battle for a striker. Will it be Hugo Ekitike? Will it be Alexander Isak for Liverpool? Because they are interested in the Swedish international and the French star. They are at Eintracht Frankfurt. In regards to the Swedish international, 25 years of age in Alexander Isak, I think the deal in itself, if it were to happen, would be quite expensive, because by the time Newcastle decide to strengthen their opponent in the league by giving them their best player, then it would really have to be for a significant fee. But I also look at it this way, that if you're Newcastle and you get a deal in the region of 120 to 150 million pounds, now that's over and above profit in regards to what you'll be making off the sale of the player, which then comes back into the coffers of the club, and also you get sort of to widen your options in as far as those numbers are concerned. But like I did say, Newcastle are not desperate for money. Their books are okay, they're in order, and now that they have UEFA Champions League football, there's guarantee for more money to come in terms of matchday revenue, participatory revenue, as well as earnings from being in the Champions League and things of that nature. So they are not desperate for money, really. They do have quite the options in regards to their pockets. Then one of the other players expected to leave Manchester City I was again speaking to the media while in the USA, and he said, yes, I have 1 year on my contract. So obviously, I could leave next season. I know what I'm going to do, but it's not the time to talk about that. I'm very focused on my season. I've been very focused on performing well for Man City. When the time is due, I'll talk about it. This season, I will for sure be with Man City. I'm going to stay. I've had options in the past and this year, and like last year, my choice is to stay at Man City. That's Bernardo Silva speaking. Of course, if the player says that he would want to stay and he will be at Manchester City next season, but what we cannot rule out is a potential move away for Man City, because Man City would be open to letting him go for the right fee. So let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. But yeah, those are some of the biggest stories making the rounds. Of course, then yesterday we also did speak about, excuse me, we did speak about Thomas Partey, who could potentially leave the club at the end of his contract in this current season. His contract does run out on June the 30th, and although he's been tabled with a contract offer, his agent and he himself are yet to respond to that offer. They are yet to decline it. They are yet to say no to it. Apparently, it was sent weeks ago, and the player wants an improvement on his wages, but the club are not budging. They're saying they can only offer him what he is currently on. And yeah, so that's the impasse at which they are at. It has nothing to do with the time scope or the scope of the contract in itself, but in regards to the wages, if there's no increase on wages, then 100% the Ghanaian 32-year-old international could work. That's according to, I think, Bochi, who works with Wazabio FM in Ghana. So let's wait and see if Arsenal were to lose Thomas Partey. Now, if they were to lose Thomas Partey, like I said, it would be something not really good. It would be a bad news for them. But also, I do not think they would be desperate to run to the market to recruit players, because when you have players like Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, obviously they're getting Martin Zubimendi, you have Mazlou Skedi. Of course, it's too big a gamble to say that you play those in his role and they're totally different from him, or he's totally different from them. But I mean, it wouldn't be wild. The season, last season, but one that was 2023-2024, when Arsenal still finished second in the Premier League. He missed majority of the season. He only made 14 appearances in the Premier League. So they managed to do it without him. And at that time, they did not have Mikel Merino in that squad. Of course, they had Jorginho once he's left, but they are replacing Jorginho with Martin Zubimendi. So, and then the likes of Martin Odegaard were fully fit throughout the entire campaign. So while he would be a miss, I do not think it's a make or break thing for Arsenal, really. Anyways, guys, that's what I had for you this morning. Thank you so much for always joining the podcast. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much, Adeli Kangumba, for your submission. For those of you that managed to follow the conversation, in your respective forums, behind, without saying anything, without leaving a like on the podcast, I still appreciate your time, guys. But thank you so much. It's always a pleasure interacting with you on this live broadcast. Let's meet again. Please check out more of our content. We'll be putting out more content under our short section. Go to our video section and watch all that content. Leave a like, leave a comment, share the content, subscribe if you're new there, and help us continue to grow. Otherwise, it's been nice doing this. Thank you so much, and have yourselves a blessed day. Do not forget, the Premier League fixtures are going to be out today, and I'll be here to bring you some of the key highlights from those fixtures. Bye-bye for now. Let's meet in a little later when those fixtures are out. Stay blessed.